Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Mustafa Khan, and today I will be briefly discussing what it's like being a graduate engineer at Inland Rail. While my experience has been primarily with the project management and engineering side of things, I'm sure that my experiences will still be of relevance to you. So starting off, a little bit about me. I graduated from the University of Sydney with a Bachelor of Civil Engineering and a major in Structural Engineering. During my degree, I had some exposure to geotech and materials engineering, working on the consultant side, and was able to bring my experience with me as a graduate at Inland Rail. And as for what I do at Inland Rail, I started my first rotation in September last year, and have been working fully remote in Sydney with the central delivery team, which is based in Brisbane. So in terms of what I do in my downtime, I enjoy playing basketball, tennis, and swimming. And occasionally, if the weather's nice, I'll go for a motorcycle ride on the weekend. So yeah, that's my typical weekend. Okay, so moving on to what Inland Rail is. There are 5 main summary points that I would like to share with you that really capture the essence of what Inland Rail is all about. So number 1, Inland Rail is a fast freight backbone from Melbourne to Brisbane that will transform how we move goods across Australia. It will better link businesses, farmers, and producers to national and global markets and generate new opportunities for industries and regions. We need Inland Rail to keep pace with the increasing freight demands of our growing population. Shifting more goods onto rail is a smart move for Australia. It means faster, more reliable freight, safer, less congested roads, and fewer emissions. And lastly, ARTC is building Inland Rail on behalf of all Australians with local knowledge and insights from landowners, businesses, and communities. So as a graduate, why did I make the switch to Inland Rail as the place to kickstart my professional career? Well, first and foremost, I have a family history of engineering. My maternal grandfather, he was a civil engineer, and my paternal grandfather worked as a railway engineer in Pakistan. In addition, I found Inland Rail as a great opportunity to work on a once-in-a-generation project. I found that IA is great at providing grads with a wide variety of exposure in their fields, and I'm sure that will continue in the IT, HR, commerce, and other fields. Their graduate rotation program provides many opportunities for learning and practical experience, allowing grads to branch out into different teams based on what they enjoy and are passionate about. In terms of experience and networking, I have found that our teams are diverse and filled with people that have a wealth of experience and knowledge in their fields. And finally, IA has provided me with the opportunity to create meaningful connections with my peers. So being a graduate at Inland Rail means that you are really part of the team. You're not just someone that gets sent to do the dirty work, get a coffee or make photocopies all day. Personally, in my time with the Central Works project delivery team, I've had my voice heard on some key aspects of the project that will have significant impacts in the future. For reference, the Central Works team consists of engineers and project managers that help to ensure that the central project is progressing smoothly in all departments and is on time and on budget. In terms of what I have been involved in, honestly, a bit of everything. Like I've written memorandums, I've developed Excel spreadsheets, reviewed documents, organized client contractor communication, assisted in stakeholder management, and been provided training and feedback from some of the most learned and knowledgeable people in the rail industry. Personally, after I complete my first rotation with the central team in May, I'll be heading out to site to see how the civil works are actually completed. This is great as it will allow me to put my knowledge into practice and provide support on actual railway construction. So Inland Rail has a strong focus on developing graduates to deal with real world issues and to enhance their transition from university to the workplace. This is supported by the Engineers Australia graduate program with 3 core modules, including personal empowerment, project management, and professional skills. These are addressed from a broad lens and they apply to all professionals, not just engineers. So personally, my key takeaways were, number 1, the value of emotional intelligence and active listening. This has helped me both during work and in my professional relationships. Number 2, the social and team collaboration aspect to engineering and project management. realizing that engineering is not just about numbers, but about communication and getting along well with peers. And lastly, consistency with your daily routine, especially when working from home. So this also would include like separating your work and your downtime. So the team and culture at Inland Rail, honestly, it's some of the best that I have experienced so far in my career. It's one of the biggest pros of being a part of this program. From the initial onboarding with learning and development specialist Fiona Wee, who helped get all the first batch of graduates up to speed, to the initial stages of my time with the graduates and with my project team, I would say that most of the people that have worked here are an absolute pleasure to work alongside. While I have only met a few people from my team due to mostly working from home, the team at Inland Rail is great at making sure all the graduates are supported. They have tasks to work on, are developing professionally, and most of all, they're making a difference to the project. So managers usually have time to support grads, give them plenty of feedback, and ensure that they are hitting their development goals. So just quickly running through some of my personal pros and cons that I have experienced so far at Inland Rail. Pros include a great work-life balance, work satisfaction, exposure to an industry-leading freight project, having a positive and supportive team and culture, having a wide range of different teams and work to be involved in, a strong focus on sustainability, and a push for chartership, which was actually quite important to me. And then cons that impacted myself and other graduates on the program include uncertainty in the initial phases of the program due to COVID, inability to work from the office and meet team members face-to-face due to COVID lockdowns, occasionally not knowing what you will be working on beforehand, and an imbalance of work during busy and less busy periods. So that's all from me. Now it's time for some questions and answers. And I'd also just like to introduce, sorry, I should have done that before, but Manjinder Singh, he is the other grad on the program. He works in quality assurance.
Hi, guys.
And Elizabeth Noyo, who is the talent acquisition specialist.
Hello. I might jump in just to give you an idea of the graduate program, and then you can wrap up with some questions. So Mushtaba just gave us a very good idea of what his experience is with us, and now I can tell you about what we are going to do this year. So just for the one that don't know Inland Rail, this is, so we are a ARTC, Australian Rail Track Corporation, is a government body, and that operates and maintain rail track. And they've won a very large project. So this is the largest project in Australia, and it's 1,700 kilometers of track that you do have. So just for you, so 17, as Mushtaba said, it's pretty large. So you can imagine that the number of people involved in that project are extremely important. You have heard ACOM, LKD's people working. So all those engineering consultancy are actually working with us to make that happen. We are the client organization, and we do have engineering consultancy working with us on the design, and also some construction company like John Holland and others, Langell Rourke, working on the delivery. So there is, most big companies are involved, and so if you're joining one of those companies, you might be working on Inland Rail. Working with Inland Rail enables you to work on the client side. So the first graduate program we, Mushtaba and Manjinder are the first grads we took on board last year in September. And now we've decided to take a second cohort, which is, sorry, I went too fast on my thing. So we've got certain positions that we've got for this year, and that not necessarily related to engineering. So we've got some in our business services. So we've got project management office. People can come from commercial background or legal background, or they can have engineering, project management type of background. ICT, some people who are from development, a software development background. Commercial, it's more a procurement. So they are going to work within our procurement team, working on all the bids and the procurement activities that are going with that mega project. We do have health and safety, so with working both on site and in the office. There is a lot of work to be done from a contractor point of view, as well as the delivery part. Environment and sustainability. If you will get to know Inland Rail, our focus is extremely big on sustainability. We want to reach the 5-star rating on those, and we are in track to do that. And given the length of the project, the environment problematic are very different. We are going across 3 different states, so that's very important, and we are going across different landscapes. So all the environmental decisions need to be made are very important. So that's there are great opportunities there, and we do also have communication and marketing. We can't develop such a big project without having a strong communication and marketing team. We need to be able to explain the project to everyone, all the stakeholders, including the general public, as well as the communities we are going to work with. And this is very important to understand, to make people understand how we are spending taxpayers' money, because this is federally funded, which means taxpayers' money. So those recruitment, it's 13, so it's not too large, and it's purposeful because we are still a small organization. We are 400-500 people, and we are going to grow, and we've got, in addition to that, a lot of contractors. But we want to be able to give the best opportunities to the graduates we take, and therefore we are taking a minimum amount each time. So we are currently advertising. So we are slightly out of a cycle. So we are advertising at the moment. The ads are closing on this Sunday, the 20th of March. So if you are interested in putting your hands up, please apply. And with the view in going through our engagement centers at the end of March, early April, with the view of starting on the 4th of July. So therefore, that means that you need to have graduated before starting. So we start slightly out, not slightly, but out of cycle as well. We start on the 4th of July of this year, and for this one, we will have other intake. But so far, this is what we are doing. So in terms of the recruitment, it's pretty simple. We don't want to overcomplicate things. So you'll send us your resume. You'll get an initial test to do that will assess the cultural fit to our team, and then you have a phone screen, so where we want to understand your motivation and who you are as a person. We also want to be able to address and answer your questions. And then after, we are going to have a small engagement center where you will have a group activity and a one-on-one interview. So that's really simple what we are doing. So once you are onboarded, as Mujtaba was saying, you've got, I'm going to pass the slide because it's already mentioned to it, but we are going to have the support of the Engineers Australia framework with those 3 modules that are going to be supporting your onboarding and your professional development across those 24 months. So the rotation over the 24 months are around 6 months at least, and can be more. Since it's different discipline, it's going to be different for each of the disciplines. So at Inland Rail, we think that the learning artifact are 10% your education, 20% the exposure, and 70% the experience you are getting. So we want to ensure that you've got that that covers. So the education, you've got it through your current studies, and the rest we are going to help you giving that exposure through our different online learning and the different exposure you are going to get through your employment experience. So we are going to base those learning artifacts through experience and learning, and we are aligning that to our value that are no harm, future thinking, active engagement, and results. I'm not asking you to read the little, all the what's in the side, but understand that this is the no harm, future thinking, active engagement, and results are the value that are underpinning our recruitment and how we are behaving within our company. So we are supporting you, and the way we are supporting you, you've got your leaders, your cheer leaders. So far as you've heard, Mushtaba was saying that he had a great experience with the leaders. We are all going to also have possibilities of mentorship. You are from the get-go, you will get a buddy. And since we already have a cohort of graduates, they will be able to support you with your questions. And you also have the human resources who are going to be here for you. So that's basically what it is. So it's a 24 months program with 6 months rotation. We are starting on the 4th of July, and the rotation are going to be specific to the discipline you are going to join, and will be flexible. So that's a key for you to understand. And you can, if you've got some interest and express some interest, we can give you some different exposure as well. So that's the advantage of being a smaller cohort. It could be adjusted to the people we do have. So now I'm probably at the end of my short presentation. So we probably can go into questions if some people have some questions for all of us.
I'm not too sure how many questions we've had come through so far, with the exception of, we have one question in the chat asking, are international students considered for the grad program at all?
So at the moment, we are a program of work with a limited shelf life, if I can say so. So the program, it's still long, but we are due to be completed on 2027, this program of work. Therefore, having international students who will require a sponsorship is probably difficult to provide an opportunity, because it's not going to be on the long run. So the working on the project is extremely good because it gives you that exposure, but the downside is we've got a limited amount of time for which we are going to be able to offer those opportunities.
Fantastic. I guess we haven't had any more questions come in so far, but so if you have any final questions, get them in now. But I guess if not, I might. I guess there's one final question in from Ben. Yes, the question says, your projects along the East Coast, would you consider remote applicants at all?
So we are, but like Mushtaba was saying, is based in Sydney, and through his rotation will go to sites. So so far, yes, we are advertising our roles in Sydney and Melbourne, also because the alignment is there. If you look at the map, most of the alignment is in New South Wales. So yeah, we could consider either remote working or relocation. If you are in WA, that means that there will be a requirement for relocating. So if you are not in Queensland, you can, or New South Wales, you can apply, but in the conversation, it's going to be, could you relocate? So the complete remote working from WA so far is not going to be possible.
Awesome. Well, I think that's just about time as well. Thanks, Elizabeth. And thanks to the whole team. Any final comments at all before we move on?
All good. Thanks.
No worries.